Greetings, Wanderer. This is Atlas here, and welcome to the Void. Today I'm going to be reacting and breaking down a song called Fiddlesticks, the Ancient Fear Champion theme from League of Legends original soundtrack. This is the winner of one of the latest polls that I did in my Patreon, and as you can see here, it won over Eversong Woods from World of Warcraft by a long shot. So I'm really looking forward to it. Onward. Right, so this is going to be Fiddlesticks from the League of Legends original soundtrack. Boom. Raise the volume a little bit. Oh, it has lyrics right from the get-go.
As the crows make night of the fading sun, hide now, hide now.
That's interesting.
The trees do bow as if they weep. Stay down, stay down. Though its light beckons forth, a melody calls out.
Those muted harmonics in the guitar are very creepy. Starting to add more layers. Wow. What? That was it? That was it. Dear Lord of Sin, that was creepy as hell. Very standard horror elements, but also it adds some elements towards the end specifically that are very interesting, okay? So, let's break it down. Okay, so to start the breakdown, I just would like to talk about general things in regards to the song that I already sort of talked about, but I just want to go a little bit more deeper into them, okay? The song starts and ends very differently, of course. It's night or day and night, a difference in between how the song starts and how it ends. Not necessarily in the essence of the song. The essence of the song is the same. It's a horror track, an overarching horror track. But the difference is that the intro of the song is very, very almost staple sound kind of horror track. You have these looming, swirling, high-pitched strings sounding in the background while the singer is singing. But at the same time, you know, the singing has this quality almost of a spoken word. So it's like in between 50% singing and 50% spoken word, with makes it have this characteristic of being a little bit more eerie, you know, because it makes it more primordial in a sense, not only primordial, not only in the vocals but also in other instruments also, which I'm going to be talking later. But the thing is that the song also has this sort of lullaby quality to it. The thing is that it's sang in a way that it's very depressing or bleak, and this reminds me of that sort of lullaby or something that is from A Nightmare on Elm Street, which is something very almost childish, but the way it's sang, it's very bland or monotone in a sense, but it's done on purpose to express the depressive state of the track or something like that. You know what I mean? Now, taking back the point or the premise that I mentioned before about the primordial element that is in the song, it's exacerbated by the Middle Eastern vibe that there is in the song. This song is very also adds fuel to that premise of the primordial thing because it's very stripped down. You know what I mean? It has very few elements, and as the song goes in the length, we can hear more layers thrown into it. But at the same time, it's not like there's a lot of layers, on top of that are increasingly taking part of the song. So for the most part, it's a very tamed in the sense that there's not a lot of layers, and there's fewer instruments participating in the song, but at the same time that makes everything sound bigger, which is weird, right? Because you would say like, well, let's say you want to compose a piece of music, and you say like, well, I want it to sound epic and big and whatnot, and yeah. If you add a lot of layers and whatnot, it can sound very epic. But the thing is that when you add so much layers, the little details are harder to perceive, especially for the average listener. But if you strip all of it, then all the details are like you get all the juice from it, let's say. So that's what happens in the song, because the song in terms of a composition is extremely simple. The chord progression is extremely simple. It's like 2 or 3 chords. But what's the most interesting part of it is that it has that primordial element, and also taking the premise that I was talking about before too, is that it starts in a very stable sound kind of horror film soundtrack, but it changes completely towards the end when it gets more synthetic. It's more of a synthesizer based ending with some sort of hardly stepped glitch bass at the end, sort of a dynamic stepper, because it's like the pattern is like in a accelerando, it speeds up. So it's pretty cool that it has like both of an element of both worlds, like the very more traditional staple sound of a horror soundtrack at the beginning, and then it starts to morph towards the middle with the Middle Eastern vibe to it, with the primordial element, and towards the end it becomes a different beast, still having a little bit of that staple horror sound, but getting it out of the box a little bit with the synthesizers and whatnot. Alright, so as you can hear there, I did a little bit of a demonstration in the guitar towards the beginning, or the transition that it makes towards you could consider the verse of a song, maybe. Super simple, and the rhythm is slow paced, but it has the articulations and the dynamics in how the instrument is played and whatnot. It's played very softly, and the accents are very they are very meticulous, So that's why I say the little details are makes the song way bigger because you can perceive them more because there's not a lot of things that are distracting you from it. So it has that. And the articulations make the song like swell in a bit, like it comes and goes. And it's almost hypnotizing in a way. Hypnotic. So yeah, as you can hear there, for the most part, what I can make of that part is like 3 chords only. I don't think it's necessarily played exactly 100% accurate, but is along those lines, because I'm not really sure the harmonics that I'm playing right there are exactly the same as the song. But, it's very close to what the song is playing. And it preserves that rhythm, that very period rhythm, eerie, hypnotic almost rhythm that sort of the introduction to the verse has. And it elaborates a little bit further into that when it gets a little bit more populated in terms of the layers and whatnot. It also has this interesting ad-lib sort of thing, chromatic ad-lib that I hear that is right? It's like something like this. And then, of course, like I said before, it elaborates a little bit more. More layers come into the song, and then it transitions towards the more synthetic part of the song, which is towards the end. So the song, in a sense, is like 70% organic and 30% synthetic, something along those lines. But yeah, you can hear that as the song goes along in length, then comes probably the part that sounds the most Middle Eastern part, To finalize my commentary, I just would like to mention that in terms of the storytelling of a song, I get the vibe that Fiddlesticks, it's like this primordial being, and it's right into the title of a track, I think, the Ancient Fear, right? So this is an ancient being, and that is very well translated in the song, in the composition, in the Middle Eastern vibe that it has, but also, of course, in the primordial, stripped down sense of a song. There's not a lot going on, and then that also translates that ancient primordial sort of being that he is. In case that's the lore of the character, of course, because if it is, the song actually speaks about that story. It speaks very well about the story of the character in that sense. Also, I read the lyrics, and they're very short. I don't think I need to break them down, to be honest, but I wonder if they are actually inspired by that song, the Freddy song from A Nightmare on Elm Street, because it's like a song that is trying to tell a story of someone that is coming for you, and then you're doomed. You know what I mean? So it plays with with that. it sings it in a playful way, almost like I said before, in a childish way, which makes it even more eerie and horror-like, let's say. And that is actually exactly how the Freddy song from A Nightmare on Elm Street has those exact same elements. So I wonder if the composer took inspiration on that or whatnot. But anyways, that movie is it's for a long time ago. So maybe it's inspired from something else. So I think I'm gonna give this track a silver badge. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and share it with your friend. Also, please don't forget to visit my Patreon, my Ko-fi profile, and my Ko-fi store in case you want to support my work further, and my Teespring merch shop. And of course, ex nihilo nihil fit.